Now let's talk about significant figures. In order to round a number up or down based on significant figures, we need to first of all identify the first significant figure, which is the highest place value number counting from the left. And usually that number is the first non-zero digits from the left. So in the scenarios shown, we have some numbers with leading zeros. So leading zeros are not significant. So in this case, the first significant number is 2. And so this number is two significant figures, 2 and 5. Now, all zeros in between non-zero numbers are also significant. So in this number 1.005, we have 4 significant figures. It's the same with numbers without decimal points, but with non-zero numbers either at the beginning or the end. So the zeros in between are also significant. Now, what about trailing zeros? Now, the issue of whether trailing zeros is significant or not can get ambiguous and complicated. So we will not get into that because it is not part of our syllabus. In this case, they are considered not significant because they may be just placeholders, or this figure may have been a lower or higher number which has been rounded, so they are not significant. So let's leave it like that. Now, what if there's a decimal point after some zeros? Still, the zeros will be counted as significant, especially because there's a decimal point and there are some figures to the right of it. So in this figure, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant figures. And lastly, if we have trailing zeros, some of which are after the decimal points, it makes all the zeros prior to it also significant, especially when there is a non-zero digit starting the number. And so these trailing zeros after the decimal also count as significant. So let's see some examples. We have 3, 6, 5, 2, 8, 9. And we are to correct to 3 significant figures and 1 significant figure. The first significant figure is the first non-zero number, that is 3. So we start counting from there, 1, 2, 3. So we stop there. Now, everything to the right will be insignificant. So we have to reduce all of them to 0. And especially to the right of the last significant figure, the value is less than 5. So we'll just reduce everything else to 0. So this is what we write as the answer. Now, what about 1 significant figure? 1 significant figure is looking at the very first non-zero digit, which means that it is 3. Now, the number to that figure is greater than 5. So we will add 1 to the 3 to make 4. So this figure correct to 1 significant figure will be 400,000. The rest will be insignificant. Let's look at the second example. So in this second example, the figure is 0.0998, and we are to correct or round to 2 significant figures. Now, the first significant figure or the highest place value number is 9, the first non-zero number counting from the left. So we'll count 1, 2. So this is the second significant figure. Now, looking to the right of that number is another figure which is greater than 5, which means we will have to add 1 to this number. And when we do so, it becomes 10. We have to leave the 0 there and shift the 1. Now, when you shift 1 here to, it will become 10 after adding to 9. Again, we have to put the 0 and then shift the 1 to the left. And so eventually we'll end up having 0.10 as the 2 significant figure result. Basically, to accomplish the above results, we identified the last significant figure, checked if the digit to the right is either greater or equal to 5 or less than 5, and we rounded figure either up or down based on the fact that these conditions were true.